Sure. Is Wemby under tonight?
On a macro level,
Yeah.
not much.
Oh.
I mean, him and the Spurs have already gone way beyond what anybody thought they would do. You go out in 6 to the defending champions. You gave them a scare, at least, for most of the series. Nobody's killing you for that.
Yeah.
So on a macro level, it's fine. Nick, it's kind of like now LeBron would have gotten to a further level of the finals, but in 2007, he's young. He didn't play that well against the Spurs. They got swept. Nobody holds that against
I was
going
to use that I was going to use that point yesterday when we were talking about Wemby's awful game.
Yeah.
After his arrival game, we said was game 1. We compared that to LeBron's game 5 against the Pistons. And then LeBron was mediocre in those finals and nobody used that.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, it's almost like people. Now, on a micro level, meaning the game tonight, there's a ton of pressure. Because one, as you showed with the numbers, he's coming off by far his worst playoff game and probably one of his worst games of the season.
So I think there can be positives if they lose.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the best thing.
The best thing would be to win the championship.
Yeah, but
like for Wemby's
he'll be able to grow from it.
I totally agree with that. I do think there is slightly additional pressure in the macro, not just the micro, because why all of a sudden did a team that after game 1 you had beaten 5 out of 6 turn around and beat you 4 out of 5? When the guys missing due to injury are on their side, not your side.
Yep.
You know what? Like, that will be, I think, for the Spurs as a team as far as approach for next season. Obviously, the best approach will be all our guys are 24 or under. They'll just get better. But that is very unique that a team that they, as of a week ago, had owned would then, if they win tonight, beat them 4 out of 5 games, including a couple times in their building and a closeout game. All of that, I think, will be, a cause for, to reflection and see what happens.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, the regular season and the playoffs are two entirely different beasts, and OKC is clearly more rested and deeper than San Antonio. OKC also has more postseason experience. They understand what it's like to navigate a 7-game series in a way that San Antonio is still learning. So that's why we can see look, if both teams were highly experienced in the playoffs and then we saw this happen between San Antonio and OKC, then sure, that would be one thing. But that's not the situation right now. This is essentially the most basketball Wembanyama has ever played in his life. And he's exhausted. You could see it. He's tired. You can see San Antonio is worn down. Whereas OKC has been there before. They've been in this position. They know what it's like to go through a long series, to lose, to win, etc. So that's a non-talking point to me. But before I dive into it, San Antonio Spurs fans, please don't forget to subscribe and watch the full-length video. When you do that, views go through the roof. Subscribers go through the roof. It's not about chasing views or chasing subscribers. It's about being able to create Spurs content that people genuinely want to watch and discuss, so we can keep having the most unbiased, grounded, honest discussions about the Spurs. It makes such a huge difference, and I would really, really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm already sweating because I'm about to get fired up with this take right now. Okay. I want to see if we can really Ave this layered conversation, because I do like how Brew brought it up about the macro, micro, and all that. But to me, a lot of this runs deeper. So let me just start with all the easy low-hanging fruit. 1. I think there's essentially zero pressure on Wembanyama on an individual game basis. There's a ton of pressure, but there shouldn't be, because this is about the team. You can't just beat the defending champs in Game 6 all because of Wembanyama. You can't consistently win at a high level and just rely on one individual superstar to will your team to victory. It never really happens that way. Do you have games where that happens? Absolutely. But not consistently, not reliably. We know that. We see all the teams that ultimately win it all, they have special performances from all different players. All different players. Whether it's Draymond Green, whether it's Klay Thompson, whether it's AD, whether it's Jamal Murray. People say, oh, well, Jokic won with. And it's like, Jamal Murray crushed it and had iconic fourth quarters, big-time moments, big-time shots. So even that type of example, Heck, even in the bubble, you had Caruso, you had, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now, with the Orlando Magic and then the Rockets. Dwight Howard, right? Even little things like that. You need big-time moments from other players. In a game like this, yes, you expect Wemby to be awesome. You expect him to be great. You even want to demand that from your player even though he's young. But this is a game where you need Castle to go off for 30 or something. That's how these games so often unfold. Or Champagne is just, he's 7 for 7 from 3, right? He just cannot miss. That's what you need in these games. That's literally what OKC has going on right now. Literally what OKC has going on. And they had it last year when they won as well. Whether it was J-Dub or J-Will, whether it was Isaiah Joe, whether it was Caruso, whether it was Dort, that's how it always happens. Always happens. So that's why, as a whole, I look at the Spurs and think about how I approach a game like this, because obviously it's Game 6. We know that, right? Obviously if you win, you continue, and if you lose, it's over. As I've said in previous videos, I try to look beyond that for the analysis because that's boring. That's lazy. It's like, oh, we've got to win this game otherwise you're down 3-1. You don't want to be down 3-1. Yeah, we know that. But let's look beyond those types of scenarios. Right now, this is where San Antonio gets to prove they're ready to win it all. This is the moment. It's an elimination game. You're at home. You have to be at your best. OKC is theoretically compromised. Go out and get it. Force a Game 7. You're either ready to win it all or you're not. And since this is such a high-pressure, intense moment, I'll tell you right now, let's say they end up winning this game, but they don't play great, or Wemby is fork. ING up shots. It's just not a high-quality game from San Antonio, but they still win because SGA is cold, the physicality, no free throws, whatever. However the game unfolds, I still wouldn't feel great about it. I would think, I don't know. What is this going to look like in the finals? Is Wemby not able to get poised? Is he letting the moment get to him? Does Castle keep turning the ball over? Whatever it is. You need to see them play great. This is the game where they prove yes or no, are you ready to win it all? You need to be the absolute best version of yourselves right now. Every single player for San Antonio has to be the best version of themselves right now. And everything is in your favor. You're at home. You are theoretically healthier. On one side, it feels like OKC is still deeper, but you have a greater percentage of your peak players, and you have Wemby who, at this point, yes, obviously early in his career, we've talked about how he's so far away from his actual true prime, all of that, but you know what? At this point, he's played a bunch of playoff games now. This is new for him, being in an elimination game setting like this. So this is a new experience for him. And I'm excited to see how he rises to the occasion. And if he doesn't, it's not like, oh, I think we got ahead of ourselves. He's really not as great as we think he is. Let me know when he wins a ring or something. That's not the case either. But you do get to see in real time where exactly you are along your GOAT timeline. Where exactly are you? And to me, this team has been very much greater than the sum of its parts. That has been heavily weighted by Wembanyama, but you're relying on a lot of different players. And that is always the biggest risk. They talk about this in baseball, this is actually a perfect comparison. When you have kind of a bullpen game, meaning you have your starter who might throw 2 or 3 innings, and then you're going through the bullpen a lot. You're using, let's just make up a number, 5 different pitchers. The problem is that you're relying on 4 or 5 different pitchers to all bring their best. You're relying on all of them, and if just one of them isn't able to bring their best, it can collapse the whole game. So it's not easy. Whereas if you're doing a traditional 3-pitcher game, you just need the starter to bring his best. You just need your setup man and you're closer to get in and get out, and you're good to go. That's one of the problems of going to the bullpen too early. Once you do that, by nature you're going to have to use more. And that is kind of where the Spurs can sometimes find themselves. Because they don't have this immediate core, this immediate big 3 or big 2 that you just know are bringing it every night. Now, you still need the role players, you still need the Bryants, the whomevers, to step up and hit a big shot. That is always true. Even LeBron James taking down the Spurs, who hit the B.I.G. shot? Not LeBron, not Dwayne Wade, not Chris Bosh. None of those guys. It was somebody else. He who shall not be named. That's how those things happen, you get a big game from the most random people out there. But you still have the core that you just know in any given moment is the foundation. And right now with San Antonio, there has been a fluctuation of I'm not saying this is their true core, but Castle, Fox, obviously Wembanyama, there has been more fluctuation there. It's been a little unreliable. I expect Champagny to be a little streaky. Expect him to be on fire for a few games and then go cold. He's not necessarily, at least not right now, your true foundational component. Like Dort, I remember specifically last season, and Isaiah Joe, there are random games where they are absolutely on fire, and that helps and ultimately sets OKC up to be able to win it all. But that's not the foundation. It's not like, man, we can only win if Dort goes 4 for 4 from 3 or Isaiah Joe comes off the bench and knocks down 3 threes. That's not how it works. So you're about to see how resilient this team is, how prepared this team is to legitimately win it all. And it's exciting. It's exciting to me. It's a win-win. You want to see them win. You want to see Game 7 just from a fan's perspective. I just want to see Game 7 because I think that would be awesome. But if I'm looking at it specifically through San Antonio's lens, if you're a Spurs fan or you're running the team, you have pressed OKC, the defending champions, in a way that no other team has. You are so far ahead of schedule, more so than people are really legitimately acknowledging. So win or lose, it's a massive, massive success. Everyone talks about OKC being this dynasty and all that, but remember, outside of last year, the years before that, they lost. They lost in one way, SGA fouling. What was it, Luka who he fouled? I forget who he fouled, but I'm pretty sure that was Game 7 if memory serves me correctly. Making mistakes, blowing some games, blowing some moments. And there you go. And even when OKC won it all, Game 7, Halliburton, his Achilles tears. That had a massive impact on the game. You can't deny that. No one could deny that. I'm not saying OKC would have lost then, but it fundamentally changes the game. Fundamentally changes the game. And yeah, they're still dominant, amazing, elite, special, but that's the margin of error. That's a fine line we're talking about here. So in a lot of ways, I'm looking at this through two different lenses. One, I'm looking at it through the team lens. And the other way, I'm looking at it through the Wembanyama lens, just because I want to be as accurate in my evaluation of who Wembanyama is right now and have that guide me moving forward. But again, you want to see Wemby get going. You want to see him have a big game and be a force to be reckoned with. But to think this is all on his shoulders, it's just not. It's the wrong conversation and the wrong way to go about winning. If you're on the Spurs team, if you're the 6th, 7th, 8th man on the bench and you're like, oh man, Wembanyama better go for 40 tonight, then you've already lost. That's not the mentality. It can happen, and it could be a huge reason why they win, but that is not the mentality. Everyone needs to rise up. That's why I always loved Golden State's actual slogan, I think it was in 2015, their first run, strength in numbers. I love that. And you saw it throughout their entire run. You had Barbosa, Sean Livingston, all the most random guys stepping up and rising to the occasion in absolute crucial moments. It wasn't always a step-back logo 3 from Steph or a 20-point quarter from Clay. It was a lot of names that people have forgotten. Barbosa going on a streak where he hits 6 points in a row, and you're just like, what is happening right now? In absolutely crucial moments of games. It's not like, Steph better go for 40 and go 8 for 12 from 3. That no doubt helps and boosts your ability to win. But if that's what you're banking on, you're done. And when the Warriors became the team where that's what they banked on, they didn't win. It's literally that cut and dry, that simple, that straightforward. So there are lots of moving parts here. It's going to be exciting. I'm really fascinated to see what this team has, right now, this game. Even if they win, because obviously then they can't. In you to play. This is the game that shows you, are they ready right now? Are they learning? Are they growing? Are they maturing? Who is Wembanyama in arguably the most pressured game he's ever played? You could maybe say the Olympics in 2024 when he was 19. I think he was 19 at the time. But this probably has a lot more weight to it right now, especially considering where he is in his career. So what do we see? What do we see? Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about San Antonio? How much pressure is on Wembanyama? How do you feel about going into this game in general? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get into some discussions, get into some arguments, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.